Kicking off our list is Baldur's Gate 3, which revolutionizes romance in RPGs with deeply personal relationships that develop naturally through hundreds of hours of meaningful interactions and choices. You build genuine connections with companions like Shadowheart, Astarion, Gale, and others through conversations that remember your previous choices and react to your character's actions throughout the massive campaign. The romance options are incredibly diverse, covering different personalities, backgrounds, and preferences, with each relationship offering unique storylines that integrate seamlessly into the main narrative. What sets this apart is how relationships evolve based on your decisions in combat, exploration, and dialogue, making every playthrough feel personal and authentic. The intimate scenes are tastefully handled, with motion capture performances that convey genuine emotion and chemistry between characters. The flexibility lets you pursue multiple relationships or remain faithful to one person, with companions reacting realistically to your romantic choices, creating drama and consequences that feel earned. Next up, we have Hades, which delivers surprisingly heartfelt romance alongside its addictive roguelike combat through relationships that slowly develop across dozens of escape attempts from the underworld. You gift nectar to various characters, including Megara, Thanatos, and Dusa, gradually unlocking deeper conversations that reveal their personalities, fears, and desires beyond their initial impressions. The writing is exceptional, with witty banter and genuine emotional moments that make you care about these mythological figures as fully realized characters, rather than simple romance options. Each relationship has multiple stages, requiring specific gifts and story progression, rewarding patient players who invest time into learning what each character values and needs. The polyamorous options are handled respectfully, with characters communicating openly about their feelings and boundaries, creating mature relationship dynamics rarely seen in games. The voice acting brings incredible life to every interaction, making even brief conversations between runs feel meaningful and worth pursuing. Stardew Valley offers cozy farming life alongside 12 diverse romance options, each with distinct personalities, schedules, and storylines that unfold as you integrate into the small-town community. You build relationships through daily conversations, gift-giving based on individual preferences, and participating in seasonal festivals, where heart events trigger deeper personal moments with your chosen partner. Marriage fundamentally changes your daily routine, as your spouse helps with farm work, redecorates the farmhouse, and eventually you can adopt children or have biological kids, depending on your choices. The modding community has expanded romance options exponentially, adding new characters, dialogue, and events that keep the experience fresh even after hundreds of hours. Each bachelor and bachelorette has unique 14 heart events post-marriage that continue developing the relationship beyond the wedding, showing long-term commitment rather than treating marriage as an ending. The gentle pacing lets you pursue romance at your own speed while managing your farm, making this perfect for players who want romance without time pressure. Dream Daddy positions you as a single dad who moves to a cul-de-sac full of other dads, offering 7 distinct romance routes that explore fatherhood, grief, and finding love again later in life. Each dad has a fully developed personality, from the fitness enthusiast to the goth youth minister, with branching storylines that change significantly based on your dialogue choices and date activities. The minigames during dates add interactive variety, from knife-throwing competitions to escape room puzzles that break up visual novel segments with engaging gameplay. Your daughter Amanda plays a central role, providing heartfelt moments about parenting and accepting your dad dating again, grounding the romance in realistic family dynamics. The humor balances dad jokes with genuine emotional depth, particularly in routes dealing with loss, insecurity, and opening yourself to vulnerability after being hurt. The art style is charming and expressive, making each dad visually distinctive, while the voice acting in the updated version adds extra personality to already well-written characters. The Sims 4 gives you complete creative control over romantic storylines, letting you craft whatever relationship dynamics you can imagine, from whirlwind romances to slow-burn friendships evolving into love. You customize every physical detail of your Sims and build their personalities through trait selection that affects how they interact romantically, from hopeless romantics who fall fast to commitment-phobic Sims who resist relationships. The relationship system tracks romance and friendship separately, letting you build deep platonic bonds or purely physical attractions, with the autonomous AI creating emergent romantic moments you didn't plan. Expansion packs add wedding planning, romantic getaways to tropical destinations, and date night activities that provide structured romance gameplay within the sandbox freedom. The modding community offers incredible romance-focused content, from improved relationship mechanics to custom romantic interactions that dramatically expand what's possible. Creating your ideal love story and watching it unfold through your Sim's autonomous decisions creates addictive gameplay where no two relationships develop identically. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus subverts dating sim expectations through meta storytelling that starts as a cheerful high school romance before evolving into something far more psychologically complex and unsettling. You join a literature club pursuing relationships with Sayori, Yuri, Natsuki, or Monica through poetry writing mechanics where word choices determine which girl you grow closer to each chapter. The Plus version adds side stories exploring the characters before the main game's events, providing context and depth that makes the eventual narrative twists hit even harder emotionally. Without spoiling the experience, this game plays with player expectations and the fourth wall in ways that transform how you think about visual novels and player agency. The writing captures authentic teenage voices and insecurities, making the characters feel real, even as the game deconstructs the genre around them. This is essential for anyone interested in how games can tell stories impossible in other mediums, though content warnings about mental health themes should be heeded. Coffee Talk creates intimate relationships through bartending conversations as you serve customers in a fantasy Seattle where elves, succubi, and werewolves discuss life, love, and finding connection across species barriers. You mix drinks following recipes that affect customer moods and unlock different dialogue paths, with your beverage choices sometimes influencing how relationships develop between regular customers. The romance isn't about pursuing personal relationships, but facilitating others' love stories through careful listening and appropriate drink recommendations that help customers process their feelings. The writing captures the vulnerable honesty that emerges during late-night cafe conversations, when people open up to sympathetic strangers about their relationship troubles and hopes. The chill lo-fi soundtrack and pixel art aesthetic create a cozy atmosphere perfect for relaxing while engaging with surprisingly deep discussions about interspecies romance and societal prejudice. Multiple playthroughs reveal different relationship outcomes for the cast based on your choices, creating replay value in this contemplative experience. Persona 5 Royal expands the beloved JRPG with additional romance options and deepened relationships through confidant storylines that interweave personal growth with the main narrative about rebellious phantom thieves. You balance dungeon crawling with social simulation, spending free time with confidants, including potential girlfriends, whose stories explore themes from abusive relationships to finding self-worth beyond others' expectations. Each romance offers unique scenes during school trips, festivals, and key story moments, with the Royal version adding new romantic possibilities and expanding existing relationships with additional events. The social stat system means you must improve knowledge, charm, guts, proficiency, and kindness to unlock certain romance options, creating RPG progression mechanics around relationship building. The time management creates meaningful choices about which relationships to prioritize, since you cannot max every confidant in one playthrough, encouraging multiple runs exploring different romantic paths. The stylish presentation and fantastic soundtrack make every hangout session feel special, even when just studying together at the cafe. Fire Emblem Three Houses combines tactical combat with school life simulation, where you teach students who become romance options as relationships deepen through combat support and monastery interactions. The three-house structure means different romance options are available depending which house you choose to lead, with students and faculty each offering distinct personalities and storylines to discover. Support conversations unlock through battlefield positioning and shared battles, revealing character backstories, fears, and dreams that make you genuinely care about keeping them alive through permadeath combat. The S support proposals at the game's conclusion feel earned after dozens of hours fighting alongside your chosen partner, and helping them overcome personal demons revealed through their story arcs. The same-sex romance options, while limited, offer meaningful relationships, particularly with characters like Dorothea and Mercedes, whose writing handles queer relationships with respect. The time skip mid-game provides satisfying payoff, seeing how your students matured, partly due to your influence as their teacher and potentially romantic partner. Disco Elysium approaches romance obliquely through a noir detective story where your broken protagonist can pursue complicated feelings for several characters while investigating a murder in a decaying city. The relationship with your partner, Kim Kitsuragi, develops organically through investigative work, with your dialogue choices and detective methods affecting his respect and potential affection for you throughout the case. The game's skill system lets you internalize thoughts about romance and relationships that affect future dialogue options, from getting over your ex to opening yourself to new connections, despite past pain. The writing is literary and dense, exploring how damaged people connect through shared trauma, professional respect, and finding moments of tenderness amid decay and cynicism. This isn't a traditional romance game, but rather an exploration of masculine vulnerability and the various forms intimacy takes between people thrown together by circumstance. The voice-acted Final Cut Edition brings incredible performances to already exceptional writing, making every interaction feel weighty and consequential. Monster Prom brings party game energy to dating sims through multiplayer competitive romance, where you and friends race to secure prom dates with monsters attending high school. You make choices during school events that increase stats like charm, smarts, and boldness, which determine which dialogue options succeed when pursuing your chosen monster romantic interest. The competitive element creates hilarious moments when multiple players pursue the same date, leading to sabotage, alliances, and dramatic betrayals worthy of reality TV. Each monster has distinct personalities, from the hipster vampire to the fearless werewolf jock, with branching paths that require specific stat combinations and previous choices to unlock successfully. The writing is absurdist and hilarious, embracing the ridiculous premise fully with jokes that land consistently through multiple playthroughs, revealing new scenarios and dialogue. The short play sessions make this perfect for replaying with different strategies and romance targets, with dozens of possible prom date outcomes keeping things fresh. Haven stars a couple, U and K, who escape to a lost planet to be together, focusing on maintaining an established relationship rather than the pursuit phase of romance. You control both characters simultaneously during exploration or switch between them during combat, with their banter and small, intimate moments revealing their dynamic through natural couple interactions. The relationship mechanics involve choosing dialogue responses during conversations that affect their bond level, with disagreements possible, but handled through mature communication rather than arbitrary game-over romance endings. Cooking meals together, showering, and sleeping in the nest create everyday intimacy rarely depicted in games, showing how love exists in mundane shared moments, not just grand gestures. The story explores themes about choosing love over duty and whether personal happiness justifies abandoning responsibilities, asking questions without providing easy answers. The beautiful art style and touching soundtrack create a dreamlike atmosphere, perfect for this romantic sci-fi adventure about two people against the universe. Arcade Spirits takes place in an alternate timeline where arcades never died, following you as a new employee at a struggling arcade, forming relationships with quirky coworkers and regular customers. The personality identifier system tracks your responses, categorizing you as kindly, quirky, steady, gutsy, or basically determining which characters you naturally mesh with based on consistent dialogue choices. Romance options include diverse characters regarding gender, body types, and personalities, from the enthusiastic fighting game competitor to the mysterious rhythm game regular who slowly opens up. The sequel, Arcade Spirits: The New Challengers, offers new romance options while maintaining the inclusive approach and branching narrative structure that lets you shape your character's personality through choices. The arcade setting provides colorful backdrop for character interactions, with gaming references that feel loving rather than pandering to nostalgia. The focus on found family and creating community spaces makes this heartwarming, even beyond the romance elements. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist combines life sim, deck building, and branching narrative, where you grow from child to adult on humanity's first extrasolar colony, with romance developing naturally through repeated time loops. You pursue relationships with childhood friends and other colonists, with each romance offering unique challenges, from forbidden love with an alien to navigating feelings for your best friend while respecting their boundaries. The time loop structure revealed gradually means you can optimize playthroughs to successfully romance different characters while uncovering the colony's dark secrets and preventing tragedies. The card-based challenge system represents your skills and experiences, with relationship outcomes depending on your character build and previous choices throughout your life. The art beautifully depicts characters aging from children to adults, with the visual progression making long-term romances feel earned and meaningful. The mature approach to consent and communication in relationships sets this apart, with characters explicitly discussing boundaries and desires. Boyfriend Dungeon uniquely combines dungeon crawling action with dating sim elements, where your weapons transform into attractive people you can romance between combat sessions. Each weapon personality corresponds to different weapon types, from the confident S-stock fencer to the shy dagger wielder, with combat preferences matching their personalities, creating mechanical incentive to try all romance routes. You improve weapons through dating, taking them to mini-golf, movies, and cafes, where deeper conversations unlock new combat abilities, creating satisfying synergy between romance and gameplay systems. The story addresses toxic relationships and setting boundaries through antagonist Eric, whose obsessive behavior the game explicitly frames as unhealthy, providing important commentary on recognizing red flags. The diverse cast includes non-binary options and various body types, with relationships progressing at different paces based on each character's comfort level and personal baggage. The dungeon crawling is simple but serviceable, providing action gameplay between substantial visual novel segments exploring each romance.
Eternights blends dating sim mechanics with stylish action RPG combat, where you must romance companions while surviving an apocalypse that turned most of humanity into monsters. You explore dangerous areas during the day, fighting through hordes, then return to base where you strengthen bonds with survivors through hangout events that unlock new combat abilities and story revelations. The time management creates pressure to balance combat progression with relationship building, since you have limited days before the apocalypse reaches its conclusion. Each romance option has personal arcs tied to the apocalypse, from dealing with survivor guilt to finding purpose when the world ended, creating emotional weight behind the anime-style presentation. The combat draws inspiration from character action games, with stylish combos and dodging mechanics that feel satisfying while remaining accessible to players primarily interested in the dating elements. The ticking clock and permanent consequences for neglecting relationships create urgency unusual in romance games, making every choice about how to spend time feel meaningful. Coral Island offers tropical farming and romance with expanded relationship systems compared to its inspirations, including friendship levels with every islander, even those you don't romantically pursue. You build relationships through daily conversations, completing requests, giving preferred gifts, and participating in festivals, where special cutscenes trigger at certain heart levels with your chosen partner. Marriage unlocks unique spouse areas, where your partner pursues their passions, from art studios to personal gardens, showing their lives don't end after the wedding, but continue developing independently. The environmental restoration gameplay ties into some romance routes, with characters appreciating your efforts to clean the ocean and revitalize the island's ecosystem. The diverse cast offers meaningful representation in skin tones, body types, and personalities, with same-sex marriage fully supported and treated identically to heterosexual relationships. The beautiful art style and animation make every interaction visually appealing, while the substantial post-marriage content provides reasons to continue playing beyond simply securing a spouse. Fields of Mistria brings fresh ideas to the farming romance genre through its unique magic system and beautifully animated pixel art that makes every character's expressions incredibly charming and readable. You romance various townspeople, from the gentle blacksmith to the mysterious witch living in the woods, each with elaborate heart event chains revealing their backstories and personal struggles. The relationship progression feels natural, with characters remembering previous conversations and your actions around town affecting how they perceive you beyond simple gift preferences. The game incorporates light RPG elements, where improving your skills in farming, mining, and magic unlocks new dialogue options and date activities with certain characters. The seasonal festivals provide structured romance progression, with special events at certain relationship levels, creating memorable story beats in your chosen romance path. The developers clearly prioritized relationship depth over breadth, with each romance route offering substantial content that makes them feel like complete storylines rather than shallow diversions. Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp expands the competitive dating formula to summer camp with new monsters to romance and additional mechanics like fear and competition stats. The camp setting enables different activities from the high school original, including campfire stories, lake activities, and overnight adventures that create new scenarios for romantic chaos to unfold. The same irreverent humor returns, with even more absurd situations and dialogue choices that somehow work despite how ridiculous they sound when read aloud.
New secret endings and hidden romance routes reward exploration and experimentation with unusual dialogue combinations and specific stat requirements. The expanded cast means more variety across playthroughs, with different monster combinations creating unique dynamics depending on who shows up at Camp Beach Run. The DLC additions keep adding fresh content, ensuring the formula stays entertaining even after dozens of playthroughs, pursuing every possible romantic outcome. Our Life Beginnings and Always stands out through its extremely customizable protagonist and the ability to shape your relationship with Cove from childhood through adulthood across multiple life stages. You customize not just appearance, but personality traits, preferences, and how your character expresses affection, with the game remembering and referencing these choices throughout the decade-spanning story. The relationship with Cove develops organically, with the option to remain platonic friends or pursue romance at various points, with the game respecting if you change your mind about the relationship direction. Moments let you choose which events to experience, with extensive options meaning every playthrough can include completely different scenes, creating impressive replay value from relatively simple branching. The wholesome tone and focus on healthy communication makes this comfort food for romance fans who want sweetness without drama or artificial conflict. The free base game offers substantial content, with optional DLC adding marriage, moving in together, and additional moments that extend the story. When the Night Comes delivers supernatural romance through urban fantasy, where you become entangled with a hunter organization protecting the city from dangerous magical creatures while potentially romancing your hunter companions. The branching narrative offers significant variation based on your species choice at the start, from human to supernatural options that fundamentally change how characters interact with you. Each romance option has distinct personality, from the stoic werewolf to the flirtatious vampire, with routes exploring their supernatural nature and how it complicates romantic relationships. The mystery plot about disappearances in the city provides strong narrative drive beyond just pursuing romance, keeping you engaged even during routes focusing on non-romantic character development. The mature approach to sexuality and consent stands out, with characters communicating clearly about boundaries and desires, without coy innuendo or assuming player interest. The art is gorgeous, with CG illustrations for key romantic moments that reward players who invest in specific relationship paths. Blooming Panic gained popularity as a free game about joining an online community and developing feelings for server members you never meet face-to-face, exploring internet relationships. The chat room format feels authentic to how people actually communicate online, with inside jokes, emoji usage, and message timing that captures the rhythm of Discord conversations. You choose which server members to engage with most deeply through your responses and participation in various channels, with different characters active at different times. The routes explore various relationships to online spaces, from parasocial attachment to genuine connection, with the game thoughtfully examining when digital relationships become real versus remaining fantasy. The pandemic setting adds relevance, with characters dealing with isolation and finding community online when physical connection isn't possible. The cozy art style and genuinely funny writing make this an easy recommendation, especially considering the free price point. Arcadia Fallen combines alchemy crafting with romance through a fantasy adventure where you form bonds with companions while unraveling magical mysteries threatening the kingdom. The relationship building integrates with the alchemy system, where you can create special items for your romantic interests based on their preferences discovered through conversation. Each romance route explores different themes, from overcoming prejudice against magical beings to navigating power imbalances in relationships with immortal characters. The choices meaningfully affect both romance outcomes and the broader narrative, with certain endings only accessible through specific relationship combinations and story decisions. The non-binary protagonist option with appropriate pronoun support throughout makes this inclusive, while the diverse cast offers representation across gender identities and sexual orientations. The beautiful art and full voice acting in key scenes bring the characters to life, making their struggles and triumphs feel genuine and earned. Changeling Tale follows a young woman who discovers she's a changeling, caught between human and fairy worlds, while navigating romance with supernatural beings and childhood friends. The fairy court politics provide intrigue beyond romance, with your choices affecting factional relationships and the balance between worlds, with romantic consequences tied to political allegiances. Each romance option represents different aspects of your identity struggle, from the childhood friend representing your human life to the fairy knight embodying your supernatural heritage. The branching narrative offers substantially different routes depending on early choices about which world you feel drawn toward, with romance options varying based on these fundamental decisions. The gorgeous art design brings the fairy aesthetic to life, with character designs that feel magical while remaining grounded enough to create emotional investment. The themes about identity and belonging resonate beyond the romance, providing substance that makes this more than simple romantic wish fulfillment. Wylde Flowers combines farming simulation with witchcraft and romance, where you inherit your grandmother's farm, discovering a coven of witches living secretly in the community. You balance farm management with learning magic and attending coven meetings, while building relationships with eligible townspeople from both magical and non-magical backgrounds. The romance options are diverse in age, background, and personality, with the game treating relationships with older characters maturely, rather than making them feel inappropriate. The magic system integrates with farming, creating unique gameplay where spells enhance crops and relationships with magical ingredients required for powerful potions. The cozy atmosphere and lack of time pressure make this relaxing, while still providing goals through festival competitions and story progression. The representation includes same-sex relationships, treated equally to heterosexual ones, with characters reacting to your relationship choices in realistic, supportive ways. Hatoful Boyfriend stands as the iconic pigeon dating sim that sounds like a joke but delivers surprisingly emotional storytelling behind its absurd premise of romancing birds at an all-pigeon high school. The routes start lighthearted with bird puns and slice-of-life school comedy before the true route unlocks, revealing dark sci-fi conspiracy that recontextualizes everything you experienced. Each bird has distinct personality, from the nerdy librarian fantail to the mysterious school doctor, with routes exploring surprisingly deep themes about mortality, purpose, and connection across species. The writing commits fully to the premise, making you genuinely care about these bird characters through strong writing that earns emotional investment despite the ridiculous setup. The True Route BBL provides horror visual novel experience that transforms your understanding of previous playthroughs, adding replay value as you notice foreshadowing previously missed. This became a cult classic for good reason, proving weird premises can deliver genuine emotion when executed with sincerity and strong writing. The Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood focuses on a witch in exile who creates tarot cards and navigates relationships with other witches while shaping the future through divination and choice. The card creation system lets you design custom tarot cards using symbolic elements that affect your divination powers and unlock different narrative paths. Romance develops naturally through repeated interactions with witch visitors to your asteroid, with the option to pursue relationships or maintain friendships based on your dialogue choices. The narrative explores themes of sisterhood, power, sacrifice, and how relationships shape us, with your romantic choices influencing the story's ultimate direction. The gorgeous art brings the cosmic witch aesthetic to life, with each character design feeling distinct and memorable. The mature themes and complex character motivations make this appeal to adults seeking romance with philosophical substance. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes brings classic JRPG romance to modern audiences through a massive cast where you can potentially romance multiple party members as relationships deepen through recruitment and battle. The relationship building happens organically through using characters in your party and completing their personal quests that reveal backstories and motivations beyond their combat roles. Each romance offers different dynamics, from childhood friends acknowledging feelings to enemies becoming lovers through forced cooperation against common threats. The war story backdrop adds weight to romance, with characters finding love amid conflict, creating emotional stakes when partners face danger in story battles. The beautiful sprite work and expressive character portraits make interactions feel lively, despite the retro-inspired presentation. The sheer number of characters means multiple playthroughs reveal new relationship possibilities you missed, focusing on different party compositions.